Well, for more details, we can now cross to France 24's Catherine Norris Trent, who's covering that case for us from the Paris High Court. Catherine, they're announcing the verdict there today, but for a moment, take us back over the details of this attack and what's being determined in the trial.
Yeah, this foiled attack dates back to August 2015, so more than 5 years ago, when a man named Ayoub al-Hazani was apprehended by passengers on a European high-speed train from Amsterdam to Paris, who saw him emerging from the cubicle of the toilets in that train, armed with a Kalashnikov, a pistol, and a box cutter, as well as a backpack containing 270 rounds of munitions. So he was apprehended by passengers. His gun also jammed. The defence claimed that he never meant to carry out a mass killing on that train, but that is what the prosecution here say very nearly happened back on that day. And they have called for him to face a maximum jail term of life in prison. The man himself, a Moroccan national named Ayoub al-Hazani, said that he was only meant to target American soldiers and members of the European Commission who might have been travelling on that train. But he has links, and he said he was ordered to carry them out by a member of the Islamic State group in Syria. He'd very briefly been in Syria at that time himself, in Islamic State group controlled territory, and has admitted coming back to try and carry out what he said was a more limited attack than a mass killing, but said he changed his mind at the last moment. This afternoon, the judges will be handing down their verdict.
Now, the Thalys attack is one of a slew of terror trials that are taking place at the moment here in France, all related to events which took place in 2015. Are there any links to those other attacks?
Yeah, it's really interesting because we're getting all these high-profile terror trials taking place in France right now. Yesterday, it was the verdict in the Charlie Hebdo January 2015 terror attacks. And next year, we're going to have the trial relating to the Bataclan terror attacks in Paris on the cafes and bars as well, which left 130 people dead. So all two events which took place in 2015 and are coming through the French legal system right now. And there are links between them. If you look at this attack, the main defendant who's accused of being poised to carry out a deadly attack on this international train in Europe, he travelled to France, to Brussels, with the man who is thought to be the coordinator of the November 2015 terror attacks, Abdelhamid Abaoud. The two men came into Europe clandestinely, along with that wave of migrants, if you remember at that time, fleeing from Syria and other countries in the Middle East, a huge wave of people coming into Europe. Well, they managed to infiltrate that and come through Europe in that way. And the prosecution says they were part of a terror cell, which then later on carried out those very deadly attacks here in Paris. And in fact, the prosecutors say that had the defendant in this foiled train attack spoken out sooner, perhaps those November 2015 attacks could have even been prevented.
Thank you very much for that. Catherine Norris Trent there reporting for us from the High Court in Paris.